Tanya, no, I'm not ready. I have things to do. You should be a little more organized. You said we were going to do that next week. Why now? I have a class to teach. Wait a minute. Sorry. It's my wife. She has this long list of things for us to do today. And here's the thing about it, she never shared the list with me until just now. And I have a class to teach at Pitt Greensburg. How organized are you? Let's use this as a teachable moment. Tanya, come on. We'll listen, we'll talk about it when I'm finished with my students at Pitt Greensburg. I know you're upset. That's okay. Listen, did you read chapter 9? The teachable moment is chapter 9 is entitled Organizing Your Speech. So just as it's important to be organized in life, it's clearly important for your speech to be organized and structured and follow an outline and use a formula and be strategic and understand the rhetorical context with the speaker, the audience, and the message. So a lot of people use their smartphones to help them stay organized. I'm including this in my visual aids early in today's session because this phone needs me to spend a lot of time with it. This phone gets disappointed if I don't make the phone a priority. I wonder if you want me to give you a hug. All right, let me give you a hug. Okay, come on. I have to teach a class. Listen, I'm trying to reduce my screen time. We'll connect a little bit later. Wow. So, how organized are you? Did you read chapter 9? How are you feeling at this point in the semester? Yes, this is an auditory message from Ed Rideout Jr. I'm so pleased to be here. We're moving forward with confidence. A lot of you feel a lot better about giving virtual presentations, whether it's in real time via Zoom or you upload it to Canvas. Do you have any questions for me about chapter 9 in our textbook? Chapter 9, organizing your speech. I know people who are really organized. I know people who are partially organized. And I know people who are not organized at all. You probably would say, Professor Rideout, you are organized. I can tell by the way you share information. Listen, lean in. I have a secret for you. Lean in. Come on. Come on. I know COVID 19's out there. This is virtual. Come on. I'm not organized by nature. It's not an inherent strength. This is something I've had to work all my life to do. So, organizing your speech. The next speech is a sales pitch speech. You will promote a product or service, right? And the first thing that the book addresses is selecting your main points, right? So, this is one thing that I use to help keep me organized. You're probably wondering, what's the correlation between Mountain Dew Zero, which is a relatively new product, and Ed Rideout staying organized? Come on, the smartphone's trying to get back in the picture. I told you, let me give you another hug. Come on. I'll spend time with you later. My wife, Tanya, I got it. Give me 15 minutes. Some people just aren't organized. You may say, how is this? Well, we can also use this as an opportunity to promote a product. Yes, you can promote a beverage. Yes, you can promote Mountain Dew Zero. If you choose an energy drink, do it responsibly. Do it responsibly. Talk about the downside. So this keeps you organized because it has caffeine in it. No sugar, thus Mountain Dew Zero. Caffeine helps me stay alert, helps me be more organized. So selecting your main points. After you select your main points, then you have your supporting evidence, right? I don't know why the author starts with main points. Maybe because it's like the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of the speech. I wouldn't have started there. It's not the structure I would have taken. It's not the organized approach I would have taken. But let's address it. Okay, how many main points should you include in your sales pitch speech? I'll throw out a number. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Let's go with 10 main points. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How about we go with one main point? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hey, lean in. 2, 5. Typically, that's the approach. You don't want to have too many main points to overwhelm your audience, or too little where you don't have enough credible data. So consider your purpose. Well, you know what the purpose is. It's no longer to inform, it is to persuade. So at some point, we have to talk about logos, ethos, pathos, keros. You may ask me right now what it is. We'll get to that later if you want to Google it or look it up in the chapter on persuasion or chapters on persuasion, be my guest. So the first set of main points, right? In this book, chapter 9, the first main point says the history of the internet. The second main point says background information on computer memory. Third main point says the problem of information overload and potential solutions. All right? So I guess what the author is saying is that's kind of broad. That's kind of vague. What in the world are you going to talk about? The second set of main points would be a little better because they're more specific. Are you ready? The history, no, scratch that. Technological advances have burdened college students with too much information. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I already used that approach, okay? Can't use it again. Information overload harms our mental capacity. And last, there are steps you should take to reduce the impact of information overload. These smartphones can cause a problem, I'm telling you. So we want to make sure our main points are strategic. We want to make sure that they are sequential. We want to make sure that they are placed for optimal return. As far as your message is concerned, we think about the audience, but you want them to be specific. As far as the second set of main points, it makes sense. The thrust of that speech is college students are overwhelmed with information. And if you think about it, maybe we need to go on a smartphone fast because so much of what we do starts here. It may transition to our notebooks, our laptops, our desktops. Time out. Do you think you could go on a fast from technology? How long would you last? Can you go a day? I know you can't go a day. How about an hour? That's a good starting point. So take your audience into account as far as your organization, right? So if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, you need to be organized. Now, what's the big idea? What is it that you want on your body? Where do you want it? What about the artist? Are you researching their background? Are you sure it's the right artist for that job? What about the different color inks? What about the size? What about the cost? So if you just walk into any tattoo shop and you talk about getting any old tattoo, you're going to get any old tattoo from any old artist and you're not going to be happy. If I were to get a tattoo, and I don't have any, my daughter has 6, my wife has 4, I really would want to research the artist. I really would want to give some thought to what it is that I'd want to adorn my body with, where I'd like to place it, right? So select an appropriate number of main points as we're transitioning through this book. I mean, you have to think in terms of numbers. And I already told you. So, pop quiz. How many main points should there be in a speech? Hold that thought. Look at this. Old English helps protect wood surfaces. I'm not so sure this is the best product for our audience in Pitt Greensburg, but I tell you what, I have a nice dinette here, and this does a good job of protecting my wood and ensuring it won't get scratched. I probably paid a little bit too much. You can't see it, but it's a beautiful dinette with a table and 4 chairs, leather, and so many amenities. Even has some marble here in the middle. So, at any rate, not so sure this is the best topic, but it does a great job. You may ask the question, does it keep me organized? I think that's a stretch. I think that's a stretch. This, caffeine, keeps me organized because I love caffeine. Wait a minute, I'm not the only one. It's been said that former President Trump drank 12 or more Diet Cokes a day to keep his alertness. Now, you may say, what happens when you crash? Because, yes, you'll be more alert. There's going to be peak, and then there's going to be decline. I just deal with the decline. And what I do as far as trying to postpone the decline, I'll drink another Mountain Dew, 0. You may ask the question, how many will I drink in a day? I am not going there. Tanya, I'll be with you in a minute. Smartphone continues to intrude. One more hug. Leave me alone for 10 minutes and we'll spend time. So as far as selecting the appropriate number of main points out, that was a pop quiz. What is it? Is it 10, 2, 6? Do you recall it's 2 to 5 main points, right? It's 2 to 5 main points. That's what we should be going with. So in our book, we have an example. I hope you can see it. The first set of main points is a little vague, and then the second one, these are more clear, more synthesized, and more focused. So main point one, coping with extreme elevation of changes, selecting light, nutritious food for week-long trips, and choosing optimal equipment for sub-zero temperatures. It looks like we're talking about taking a trip. It looks like we're talking about maximizing the situation. It looks like we're educating the audience about taking a trip. But not only that, did you pick up on the fact that evidently this trip you have to cope with extreme elevation changes, like maybe in Colorado, right? So, are you with me? Did you read chapter 9? Let's test your active listening. What were my talking points up to this case? How about my props? Can you recall my 3 or 4 props? Okay, I'm a teacher of props and visual aids. I try to be creative. I like to think of myself as the Dr. Seuss of public speaking. I know that may be a stretch, but at least you can get some sense of the direction I'm heading in. So, organizing your supporting material. So really, let me summarize. Really, let's go backwards. We need to start off with a topic that's relevant for the classroom audience, right? I had a student at Pitt Greensburg just yesterday give a demonstration speech on how to change an oil. I told the class not to do that. That's a typical default mode. I don't really want to do this assignment. I don't really want to do the research. I know it's kind of easy. And here's the thing about it. Most classmates don't really care. On the one side, you have people who already know how to change the oil. And the other side of the classroom, it's, I don't care. I'm going to take it to Jiffy Lube. I don't care. I'll let my dad do it. I don't care. So let's select a topic that's beneficial. I mentioned Old English. As far as this protects wood surfaces, as much as I like it, and I love the smell and it protects my dinette, I don't think it's the best topic for Pitt Greensburg at this point. So at this point, organizing your main points, how do you do it? We're talking about main points and supporting evidence. We're talking about strategic main points and supporting evidence. So what do you do? The book talks about subordination and coordination, and really that's what they're talking about. How do you support your main points? Okay, your main points should be expressed in complete sentence format, right? It shouldn't be keywords. Complete sentence format. Let's take a look at this, right? Complete sentence format. Main point 1, healthy eating is essential for college students. So that's the thrust of the presentation, eating healthy as an undergraduate student at Pitt Greensburg. So not only is the main point expressed as a complete sentence, but so are the supporting points. And that's your testimony, your examples, your statistics, your anecdotes, right? Right? That's your brief examples, your extended examples. So really, take a look at the outline I have for you, and that is the Hershey Kiss outline in Canvas. Pull it up and take a look at the main points of supporting evidence and pay some attention to it. So we need a topic that's relevant for our classroom or audience. It should be organized and structured, right? It should be based on main points and supporting evidence, 2 to 5 main points. Supporting evidence should be testimony, examples, statistics, and narratives and some other things, right? You may say, can I use scholarly journals? Yes. If you're giving a presentation on Mountain Dew Zero, you may say, I can't think of a scholarly journal, but you can probably find something on caffeine in undergraduate students, and maybe not Mountain Dew Zero is included, but caffeine could be something that's peer-reviewed, right? So when a subpoint doesn't fit, I'm not so sure I want to spend a lot of time with that. I think you should know when it doesn't fit. Your presentation, your main points and supporting evidence should be congruent. Your main points, these are your star performers. This is the meat and potatoes of your speech. In your introduction, we grab the audience attention. We have an orientation, thesis preview. Now, the curtain rises. It's showtime, and the star performers are our main points, right? John Travolta is a star, and so he supports the impetus of a movie. He is the coming attraction. People come to see Travolta do his thing. He has a long history of doing it, probably 40 years or more. So, arranging your main points. The book talks about spatial pattern, talks about chronological pattern, talks about cause-effect, talks about comparison pattern, talks about so many other things. I'm only going to talk about a few of them. Spatial pattern, pictured here, is when your topic is divided into directional patterns. If you're given a presentation on the design of the Eiffel Tower, left, right, up, down, north, south, east, west, bingo, makes sense, right? Spatial pattern, right? Spatial. So, as I flip through my book, chronological pattern is the second thing addressed in chapter 9. Remember, if you're going to get a tattoo, you better be organized. You better give some thought to what it is you want on your body, where you want it, who you want to do it, the coloring, the details, cost, follow-up maintenance. You might have a tattoo right now that you regret because you didn't take that approach. I'm not organized by nature. I work really hard to stay organized. I do. It's not natural for me, but I know I have to as your teacher. So chronological order, can you give me some perspective on how that unfolds? Because you've already done it. I'll give you a chance to think about it. And while you're thinking about it, here's a notebook I have. I take notes, and there are copious notes on so many things. When I'm reading the textbook, I'll take notes. When I'm putting together a lesson plan, I'll take notes. Putting together a things to do list, I have notes. I have notes. Sometimes they're color coded, underlines, asterisks, so many things I do to stay organized because it doesn't come naturally to me. So chronological pattern, have you given that thought? Because we've already gone down that road. If you think about it, you only gave one speech up to this point, so it has to be the demonstration speech based on time sequence, based on first, second, third. And that was a process, whether it's winning friends and influencing people or the dreaded oil change speech sequentially based on steps. That if I hear one more demonstration speech on how to change oil in a car or how to change a flat tire, I am going to scream, literally scream. There's no need. Our audience doesn't care. We need something else. Maybe how to select the right pet for our family. Maybe how to make the dean's list. I even had a student at Pitt Greensburg last week talk about how to communicate and motivate children. It could be something COVID-19 related. The book goes on to talk about cause-effect pattern. That's when the first main point's a cause, the second is an effect, and some other things. Let's go ahead and transition to transitions. Let's transition to transitions. So it's a nice thing to have your speech organized. It's nice to have it based on intro, body, conclusion, format. It's a nice thing to have 2 to 5 main points. It's a nice thing to have main points and supporting evidence. So we also need transitions. And I'll read right from the textbook in terms of what this is. A transition is a sentence that indicates you're moving from one part of your speech to the next. So why include them? You include them so your speech is not disjointed, so your message is coherent, so people can follow it. It just makes sense. What if I didn't have any transition? I started talking about opening and closing a presentation with impact right now with no transition, no big picture. I can make a transition by talking about the sales pitch speech, jumping ahead, and then moving back in incremental steps and including organization with it. But I need to be careful because I'll lose you, and I don't want to lose you. Here, one more time. This smartphone, I thought I spent enough time with you yesterday. You want just one more hug? This is my buddy. It's an Apple product, XR. I think it's 10XR. My wife has a Max Pro 12, so you can certainly give a sales pitch speech on your smartphone. So where are we in this chapter? And I need to wrap up because we've already been close to 20 minutes at this. So I have another prop. This is a tank top. You may ask the question, Rideout, can you somehow take this prop and incorporate it into your message on staying organized? Well, I have you covered. Because I work so much and I teach at 3 schools, stress is an issue. So when I put this tank top on and I go to the park and I run hard, it helps distress me. And in distressing me, I'm more readily organized. That's good stuff, Rideout. Could you have done that? Because I grabbed this as a potential prop, but didn't really know how I was going to use it. You may ask the question, do you have any other props, Ed? I have one more. Are you ready for this? It's a huge prop. Look at this baby. Oh, those wireless Speakers. This is the 30 series. This thing cost $499. And this thing has an incredible bass, has nice range of sound. I think it's worth it. I used to be a Bose enthusiast until I bought one of their wireless headphones and it didn't deliver. So I did some research and I located this Sony wireless headset with a bass kick. So to date, this is the best wireless headset I have ever purchased and had the pleasure of enjoying. Cost about $185 and ambient sound on or off, bass kick on or off. I think I covered all of my props, guys. I need to wrap up. The book does talk about signpost in terms of transitions. Those are typically expressed as numbers or letters. So you hear a lot of politicians say, I have four main things I want to talk about. Number one, and they'll talk about it. Number two, and they talk about it. Good business managers say, I have a number of things I want to talk about. A, and they talk about it. B, C, D, those are signposts. It lends itself to a cohesive message. People can follow that a lot better, right? You know what? I actually transitioned through chapter 9 in my book. So did you get anything out of it? I enjoyed you so much today. Oh, I enjoyed you. How about a review of my props? Old English, Health Protect Wood Surfaces for my dinette set. All wood. Pretty expensive. Don't think it's the best topic for a sales pitch presentation. Smartphone. Apple product. Certainly you can explore that and promote that for sales pitch presentation. Do your homework. Sony wireless headphones. The bass kick, don't forget, bass for you bass heads. Found a way to bring this tank top into the mix, and I had no clue to how I was going to incorporate it, talking about organizing your speech. This was a no-brainer, though, because I love caffeine. You could promote this beverage, Mountain Dew Zero. And last but not least, I pulled the big boy off the shelf, Bose wireless speaker. Big woofer in here, great range of sound. If I turned it on, you wouldn't believe the sound quality. You wouldn't believe it. So listen, we're finished with chapter 9. I enjoyed you. I love you. I appreciate the sacrifices you're making. You're important to me. Let's work hard on this sales pitch presentation, and let's deliver a dynamic message. So you take care of yourselves until I talk to you again.